graduated last year, class of 2018, and I'm studying media, culture, and communications at NYU.
Hi, my name is Ryan. I graduated last year, and I study history at UC Berkeley.
Hi, my name is Kathleen. I graduated in class of 2017, and I currently study pharmacy at University of the Pacific.
Hi, I'm Christian. I'm on the pre-health route at Emory University, and I graduated last year.
Hi, I'm Kevin. I graduated class of 2018, and I'm studying public health at UC Berkeley.
Please keep the mic in the back row, and we will have the front row mic start. But Isabel, you didn't shut up. Can you please introduce yourself? Tell us what year you graduated from Diamond Bar, where you went to college, your major, all those fun things. She probably doesn't need a mic. Probably not on.
Okay. My name is Isabel. I graduated in 2015. I went to University of Laverne and graduated in 3 years in education.
Hi, I'm Shani. I graduated from Diamond Bar in 2014, and I graduated from UCLA last year with majors in political science and history and a minor in global studies.
Hi, I'm Melody. I graduated Diamond Bar High School in 2014, and I studied econ with a minor in accounting at UCLA, and I graduated in 2017.
I'm Denise. I graduated in 2016, and I study econ admin and concentrating in financial accounting at UCR.
Hi, I'm Katie. I graduated in 2018, and I go to Boston University studying advertising.
Hi, I'm Vivian. I graduated last year, and I study bio at Boston University.
Hi everyone, my name is Caitlin Lee. I am currently attending Southern Methodist University, majoring in math, trying to pick up a minor in business on the pre-med track, and I graduated from Diamond Bar in 2018. Hi, I'm Jess, and I graduated last year. I'm studying public health at UC Berkeley.
Hi, I'm Iris. I study cognitive science at Carnegie Mellon University, and I graduated last year.
Hi guys, I'm Josephine. I graduated last year and I'm studying econ and business at UC Berkeley.
Hi, I'm Matthew. I graduated class of 2018. I'm studying chemistry with a secondary in government at Harvard.
Hi, I'm Edward. I graduated from Diamond Bar in class of 2016. I'm currently studying statistics and economics at UC Berkeley.
University of the Pacific, but I can speak on behalf of most colleges. I'm sure a lot of you guys are worried about homework in college. Yeah, there isn't really such thing as homework in college. It's mostly up to you. It really depends on the classes. Like my friends taking math obviously have math homework. But honestly for you guys, if you have to take a math class in college, it's going to be so easy for you. Like, I'm not kidding. AP Calc prepares you for college so well. And just Diamond Bar in general. But like on the basis of studying again, it's really up to you, like Caitlin said. You have all this time in the world in college. I only have one class a day, 9:30 to 10:45. That's an hour and 15 of my day. And the rest of the day I have to study. And a majority of the time I sit in my apartment and watch YouTube videos, which you shouldn't do. But that's what like your roommate is for. And going back to the community thing, having good roommates, having a good group of friends to push you to keep studying for midterms like 2 weeks in advance, it'll really help you. So just learn to manage your time.
Going off of what Caitlin said, yeah, college is really what you make of it. And I think one of the biggest worries that I had in high school was not knowing what the heck I wanted to do in the future. And coming from Diamond Bar is so like STEM oriented, you know, you've got AP Calculus, you've got bio, computer science, there's all sorts of STEM related things. And for me, growing up in high school, I didn't really feel like that's what I wanted to do. And so there's so many times where like I'm not taking the classes that I necessarily want to take, and I think that going into college, you really get to choose what you want to take, you get to choose what you want to study and what you want to go into. So not knowing what I wanted to do in high school kind of just like faded away as I went into college, because it really opens up more opportunities and opens up more doors for you to discover what you want to do. And even if you're in college and you don't know what to do, like going in undecided, that's okay. Just really explore and see what works for you and what doesn't. And I feel like, in college, it's like less of a worry because you're in the same boat as so many people, and so many people don't know what they want to do either. And just knowing that you don't have to become that doctor, you don't have to become that lawyer. It's just like you have other people with you in that same field of study. And coming from Diamond Bar, that was my biggest worry, but going to college, it was a lot better, yeah.
I think the most important thing about college is that there's a lot of free time, so make sure you get an agenda and make sure you schedule like when to study and when you want to hang out. It's really helpful because you get so busy sometimes that you really need to keep a good schedule. Another thing is what Caitlin said about what school you go to in the future. I had my mindset and I really want to go to UCI because I knew they had a good education program. I applied to Laverne just because my mom got a letter in the mail saying I had a free application, so I did it, but I didn't want to go. It's really close to home. I didn't want to live at home with my parents. I wanted to move out. But I ended up getting a good scholarship there, and I ended up going, and they have a really good education program, and I don't regret it at all. And I had a really, really good experience there. So don't worry about what other people think, because most people don't know where University of Laverne is, and they're like, it's probably not that great of a school because it's not something like Berkeley that everyone knows. So coming from Diamond Bar High School, I always had like 30 of my friends saying, I got into Berkeley, I'm going to Berkeley, where are you going? And then I tell them, and they're like, oh, what's that? And so don't worry about what other people think. College is your experience and what you make of it. So when you go there, you try to find your own way to make it a good time, and don't worry about what people say about your school. And there are also some of my friends who ended up going to their dream school, didn't like it, had to drop out for a semester or two, and then apply to new colleges. And that might happen, but don't worry about what other people think, because those people who did drop out of the school that they were at ended up going to a new school. They do have to graduate a year later, but they love it there. And they have no regrets going through that whole process because you learn a lot. Just don't worry about other people other than yourself. Put yourself first. I guess the two main things I did in high school of extracurricular activities was marching band and swim. Marching band didn't, like, I made friends. I used like some of the teamwork skills that we had, but mostly it's just swim. Because I did 4 years of swim and I had pretty good coaches, and it made me really happy with like athletics. Gave me the courage to do athletics in college. Laverne is a D3 team, so we don't get scholarships or anything, so I was all walk-on the team. And I'm not the fastest on the team, definitely never made it to the A relay, but I improved on my own times and it helped me with time management. So doing swim in high school gave me the courage to do it in college, which helped me drive my entire college career, because I would not have been able to make it through without having that other than academic activity in school.
So when I was in high school, I did a lot of stuff extracurricular, but I didn't particularly do a lot of things that I thought would be like college at padding or anything like that. But what I did do taught me a lot. So I played water polo for 4 years. Yeah, thank you, water polo team sitting in the front. But what that sport really taught me was like a lot of leadership stuff. Like maybe like a college app reader doesn't really care that you play water polo, but when you actually play a team sport for an extended period of time, like it teaches you something unique about like leading people and working together. And I also I had like 1,300 volunteer hours. So I still volunteer like to this day. And what volunteering really is like you're just basically working working for free for someone who really needs help, and it teaches you to have like a really good work ethic. Like, you'll have a job one day, and you'll notice that people around you don't have the same work ethic as you, and some people will have like, they'll be like really dedicated to their work, and like you'll see them like get promotions like all the time, and then there'll be people who are just kind of there. So that's it. The more you volunteer, the better chance you have of like getting into the good mentality that gets you places.
So I actually did Science Olympiad here for 3 years. I see one guy over there. Hi. Basically, for me, for Science Olympiad, I did like it because a lot of what I was doing was building stuff. So actually in college, I have taken some of the stuff I've taken here, like my robot arm, and actually have built upon that. But one of my good friends is actually, he was a North Hollywood Science Olympiad build captain, and so we became best buds because we were in the same major at the time. And so we still hang out. He plays Frisbee, I play Frisbee a little bit. He's better than me. He's really good, like varsity. But the whole point is, like, I made some connections through Science Olympiad. The other thing I did was a Tech Student Association for like 4 years, which I thought was kind of cool because I did get to learn more about technology, which I think was a lot more helpful, especially going to a college, because a lot of people start talking like that and you like kind of match up really well. I did CSF, which I think is great. Like you said, like volunteering is amazing. It doesn't really, I guess for some people they do it to pad on their like college app saying I got and I did volunteer and I helped a poor soul today, and now he's like the same poor soul, but he has my help. I don't think you should think like that. I think honestly when you go into it, I think you should really help people because you want to help people. A lot of the stuff you'll see, especially when you go into college, like your paradigm does shift. And so like volunteering does help open that, and you can actually do some more really good considering where we're coming from Diamond Bar. Then I did clarinet, I did band here, wind ensemble, and CYMO, unless I guess. Sorry, they were also, Edward was in it. But it was actually kind of cool because I did like time management skills. It was really helpful. I still remember how to play clarinet, which is great. But I think it really boiled down to kind of doing something fun. Like something that you can kind of enjoy and still do like 300 years from now, although you will be dead, but 300 years from now. Just because I think generally like, you gotta do some stuff like you said, that's fun, and I think that's what I really wanted to get out of when I came to Diamond Bar, was to do fun clubs that like really expanding my skills that I could still do later on.
Yeah, so I did mock trial here for 4 years. I did math team for 3, and then I did link crew. Well, you can only do it for 2 years, so I did that for 2. And I feel like mock trial really helped me develop as a person. And I know I've told Mrs. Thomas this so many times, but going through mock trial helped me become more confident in my own abilities. It made me more comfortable with public speaking, and basically just gave me the confidence to do anything and to help me gain leadership skills. It's also part of the reason why I actually applied to this research position that's looking at the intersection between science and law. I was looking at like legal cases and just thinking like, oh yeah, I know all the legal jargon from mock trial. And then math team helped me with problem solving and leadership skills, because when you're taking non-math classes but still STEM classes, the math you're doing isn't really, like they're giving you an equation and you solve it or do whatever proof they want you to do. They're giving you a problem and then you have to figure out how to solve that problem from it. So going through math team helped me with that. And then link crew was just fun, and I like helping people, so.
So I was mostly involved.
Introduce yourself first.
Oh, I'm Denise, and I graduated 2018, and I'm a spring admit to Boston University. So when I was in high school, I was mostly involved in like the band program, and so that really helped me figure out like what I really enjoyed about the program, and helped me with time management and putting myself out there with like people who were underclassmen, and like making more friends like outside of my regular group of friends in my own grade. And I was also in link crew for a year, which helped me really like get myself out there and like develop more patience when talking to people because I really got patience. And so it was just like a lot of it was just like, especially with Link Crew or like CSF and Interact and like volunteering and everything, you really develop a sense of like how you should, because like in school you're always like with your friends and with your peers, so it's a lot easier to just like talk to them about whatever, but out in the real world you're talking to people in all walks of life and like of all ages, and so I think that those groups really helped me like develop a sense of how I should talk to them and like what I could talk to them about.
Okay, so when I was a freshman, I joined volleyball, and beforehand I was playing volleyball for about like 4 years. So going in my freshman year, I was like ready to play, and then my sophomore year I was on JV and I was captain. And then I felt like after that, like my junior year, I was on varsity for the summer, and then I just kind of like stopped feeling it, and I wasn't really into it as much as I thought I was gonna be. And based off that experience, I was like, I still don't really feel like I found like the group of people that I wanna, spend the rest of my high school with. So my junior year, I quit volleyball, and then I joined USB. And so, yeah. So I loved USB so much, and I feel like even though I was only in it for a year, it was like hands down the highlight of my high school career, because I met so many amazing people through it. I met a lot of people I thought I wasn't going to be close with. But it was a really cool experience. And then before joining USB, I really had no idea like what I wanted to do in college. And I was always like thinking like, oh, volleyball is like all I have, so I thought that's what I was going to do when I go to college. So I was like, oh, I'll just play volleyball. But after I joined USB, I was the art commissioner, so I painted posters and I did all of that, and it made me really like going into like the field for arts. So when I got into NYU, I'm majoring in like a communications or media studies based major, and I think that if I didn't join USB, I don't think I would have been on that path. And aside from USB, I was also an officer for Link Crew, which was pretty cool. I mean, we didn't really do much, but it was still fun. Oh yeah. And then, but anyways, like I still think like regarding like the college aspect of it, when I was filling out applications, I was like, oh, I'm in USB, like it's gonna stand out like really well. And then when I was going through like the Facebook groups and everyone's introducing themselves, they're like, I was in ASB for 3 years, or I was in USB for 2 years, and I'm like, oh, okay. But at the same time, it's like really like what you write about and how you make it stand out. So even though there's gonna be a lot of people that are applying that did the same exact extracurriculars as you, it doesn't matter, because as long as you sell your experience and make your experience different than everybody else, then you still have a chance of getting into college. So.
I spent 2 years playing basketball here, so that helps you with meeting people at the gym. But yeah, right? Best shooter in Berkeley. I spent 4 years in journalism and 3 years on the newspaper as a sports editor for the Bullseye. So I felt like that would help me. I decided to join that because I felt like it was something, one, I could combine both writing and sports, my two favorite things. So that's where I met a group of people that I really like meshed with and worked well together. So that kind of gave me the set of skills to prepare me for college, because a lot of the friends that I make in classes and just discussions, a lot of them like we met at like football games at school. So that's a cool thing. But the writing aspect of journalism, I think, really helped me in academics, because like talk about there's not that much homework, but that's because your grade weighs upon like 4 different like assignments, which is like essay 1, essay 2, midterm 1, and final. So a lot of it for like when you take like humanities classes, a lot of it's like essay based and writing. So I thought that being in journalism really helped me prepare and help me with my writing skills, because you don't realize it, but grammar is really important when it comes to getting a good grade. So they want to make sure that they can actually read it. So I thought that journalism really helped me prepare for my college experience, considering that I'm going into humanities. So.
I actually got recruited by UOP to swim for them, and they are a D1 school, so I did get scholarship for it. So for all of you out there who are in sports, and I know a couple of you guys are, and you want to pursue it in college, I highly encourage you doing it because who knows, you don't have to do college applications like I did. But the only downside to that is that with all the free time that you have, compared to your friends who are non-athletes, all of that time is used for practice and for weights. So I'm a lot more tired than I was in high school, but I don't regret joining the swim team in college. And another thing that I did was I did internships my junior and senior year summer. I worked in a cosmetics company where I had to make the makeup. So 0.1 gram off and the color will be off, which made me a lot more interested into the field that I'm going to, pharmacy. So expand your horizons, go do stuff that you think you would like to do, and if you find out that you don't do it, that's a good thing because that'll just be one thing to knock off from your reading list.
For me, I also swam in high school, but I wasn't good enough for college. but it's totally fine because there is intramural and there is swim club, so if you're not getting recruited by colleges, it's fine because you guys can carry that on to college. And so, yeah, and I also was in Operation Smile in high school and in USB. And in college, there's a lot of similar organizations as in high school. So there's also like Club Fair in college. So when I went to that, it was Operation Smile. So like, yo, yeah, I'm gonna join that because I was that in high school. And when I joined that, you also, like I said before, you meet a lot of the people with similar interests and you really bond with them. And for USB, it's like student government. And I don't know about other schools might have it, but at my college, there's something called like student government, and you can really pursue that if you want to, and it's your choice if you want to join something. And what I really learned was that when you go to college, you gotta like put yourself out there if you really want to join it. And yeah, thank you.
So like I would say the big things that I did in high school that I really enjoyed were marching band, tennis, even though I was like pretty trash, I just did it because it was fun, and UNICEF. Join UNICEF, and this is my co-president right here. And so I would say like I did those organizations in high school because I thought that the people in those clubs were really cool, and I really enjoyed like basically the goals that each of those organizations had. And I think that a very important thing that you should remember in high school is do the organizations that you're passionate about, not like just to like stat pad, I guess. And like I feel like no matter what you do in high school, whether it be like being a part of a sports team or being in band, if you're passionate about it and like you want to talk more about it and like that's a huge thing for you in your life and you put that on your college apps, it's a lot clear. It's very clear that it'll be a lot more clear basically when you're writing about it, like when they're reading it, and they'll be like, oh, like this guy really loves what he's doing, and like it shows that he's a very passionate person, you know. Like I would say like quality over quantity is a huge thing in high school, and like doing these things at UC Berkeley, like I guess like Daibar is kind of like a famous school there, or like it's a very well-known name at Berkeley. So like when I was going through the rush process for my frat, like I was just going through it, and there's just so many new people that you have to meet and just talk to, and you just talk about any of these subjects, and like you talk about you're from Diamond Bar, they're just like, yo, this guy's from Diamond Bar, that's pretty cool, like he did marching band, like I did marching band too, you know, like everyone's like, oh, UNICEF tennis, like that's awesome, like it's just stuff like that. Yeah, like there's a UNICEF at school, there's a marching band at school, there's tennis at school, it's everything, you know. It's just like you just meet so many people that like even though like I don't know, or like at a school with like 40,000 kids, there's bound to be kids that did the same things as you in high school, and it's really nice to have that basis when you meet them, and it's really easy to like just start off new friendships like that.
Hi, so I'm Edward. I also go to Berkeley. So major things I did in high school that I carried on to university were marching band. I was like part of the band program in general, orchestra as well, and FBLA. I was like involved in like competing in events, and I was also like heavily involved in attending a lot of like conferences. Also like a little bit of math team and a little bit of other things as well. Basically, I think that the most important thing when you're like being involved in something high school extracurricular related is making sure that you're like enjoying it and making sure you're finding a community where you're like able to like interact with people and feel comfortable with, because for me personally in high school, that was like what the music program was for me. It was like a place where I'm able to, first of all, like play the trombone. I played the trombone for like 6 or 7 years, and then I think that it was really nice to be able to just like have something that I really enjoy, but also like have so many other people that are also as committed as you are, and like you really learn a lot from the process, and you really like grow with other people along with like just like having fun. So I decided at university at UC Berkeley that I was going to continue pursuing music, and then I was involved in the university orchestra that so I was playing the trombone in the orchestra, and I thought that it was a really cool experience. I was able to make a lot of new friends, and I enjoyed it, and I just wanted to like do something from high school that I enjoyed to like continue into university. Same thing with FBLA. I think that it taught me a lot about like networking with other people, as well as like just like understanding that the world is not only like about you, but also you interacting with other people. So I carried that into college by joining a student organization called California Actuarial League, which is like a professional club that I wanted to like pursue for like industries, because I want to become an actuary in the future, which is basically like someone that analyzes risk and insurance, if you didn't know. Anyways, I thought that like my experience in FBLA in high school really helped me get involved in like communicating with other people and like personal development as well as professional development. And I thought that yeah, like I did what I enjoyed in high school, and I kind of carried, like that was my main goal, like doing what I enjoyed in high school and carrying that on like into university, and I thought it worked out really well.
Hi, I'm Matthew. So in high school, I did math team, science Olympiad, symphony orchestra. Outside of school, I did chemistry research and a lot of other orchestras, chamber music. I spent a lot of high school music and stuff, but in college, I don't do that anymore. I don't do the music thing at all. I still play like on my own. I have a piano on loan in my room, but I don't have time for like 3-hour rehearsals every week and stuff. For math team and science Olympiad, I actually still do that at college, but like on the other side of the table, like I write tests and proctor now instead of competing. And I think in general in college, people do clubs that they're actually interested in, and they don't stay in clubs that they're not interested in. So in high school, I know a lot of people do clubs, start clubs, stay in clubs because of like college apps, and some people join clubs that they find out by sophomore, junior year that they're not actually interested in, but because of commitment or whatever, they just keep staying in it. But I think in college, people don't keep doing things that they actually don't like. There's generally higher turnover in a lot of clubs because as people are exploring, discovering their passions or what they're not interested in, they're not going to waste their time focusing on like whatever application they have left to stay in a club just for like the number of years they're in the club. So I think that results in like most organizations having people who are actually interested, actually dedicated in like whatever mission. Like I'm also in a club called Harvard-China Forum, which kind of like advocates for U.S.-China relations, which is really interesting. And like you can tell everyone else is really passionate about international relations, politics, and it's really good to be able to find yourself in communities where other people have like genuinely have the same interests as you.
Hello. So I did a lot of things in high school, but I don't do any of them now. And in college, I think like what I've learned is mostly like after your first semester freshman year, like freshman year, no one cares what you did in high school. And I think that if anything, the biggest thing that I learned from everything that I did in high school is to be an aggressive candidate for everything that you do in college. And I think something that I didn't know coming into college is that you have to apply to clubs and you don't just join them, and they're really hard to get into. Like out of a pool of 300 people, they'll take like 9 people a semester. So it's like really difficult to get into clubs. So being a competitive candidate and really putting yourself head first, your first semester, I think, is something that I took away from high school.
Not like you had any choice, but I'm sure this is a nice departure for you all from the typical math day. 20 or so alumni here have been gracious enough to be here to share their experiences about college. I'm guessing half of them graduated recently last year, and then the other half within the years before them. Okay? But before they introduce themselves, I will ask that you all be gracious enough to not look at your cell phones while they're up here speaking, okay? Because one, it could be distracting for them, and two, it's a little bit rude. Okay? So please just keep those into your bags and silence or off during the remainder of this period. Okay? Now, you guys are lucky enough to have, I think it's what, 5 minutes more than the average period, so you get to hear them for 5 minutes more than all the other periods do. Okay? So they've got plenty to share up here, and how about we let them start on one end, introduce themselves with their name, their graduating year from Dunbar High, and the school that they currently attend. Okay, so without further ado, go ahead and start it off.
Hi, my name is Shiny. I graduated from Diamond Bar in 2014, and I just graduated from UCLA in 2018. I had a double major in political science and history and a minor in global studies.
Hi, my name is Melody. I graduated from Diamond Bar in 2014 as well. I graduated from UCLA in 2017, and my major was econ with a minor in accounting.
Hi, I'm Denise. I graduated Dunbar in 2016, and I currently attend UCR with a major econ admin and a concentrating in financial accounting.
Hi, I'm Katie. I graduated last year. I currently attend Boston University, majoring in advertising.
Hi, I'm Vivian. I graduated last year and I'm studying bio at Boston University.
Hi, I'm Caitlin. I graduated last year and I'm currently attending Southern Methodist University, and I'm majoring in math, trying to pick up a minor in business, and I'm on the pre-med track.
Hi, I'm Jess. I graduated last year. I go to UC Berkeley studying public health.
I'm Iris.
Hi, I'm Edward. I graduated from Diamond Bar in class of 2016, and I'm currently studying statistics at UC Berkeley.
Hi, my name is Matthew. I graduated from Diamond Bar 2018. I'm studying chemistry with a secondary in government at Harvard.
Hi, I'm Kevin. I graduated last year, and I'm studying public health at UC Berkeley.
Hi, my name is Ryan. I graduated last year, and I'm studying history at University of California, Berkeley.
Hi, I'm Kathleen. I graduated in 2017, and I'm studying pharmacy at University of the Pacific.
Hi, I'm Christian. I graduated last year, and I'm on the pre-health route at Emory.
Hi, I'm Cami. I graduated last year, class of 2018, and I'm a spring admin at NYU, majoring in media culture and communications.
Hi, I'm Denise. I graduated last year. I'm also a spring admin at Boston University. I'm studying bio.
Hi, I'm Isabel. I graduated in 2015. I went to University of Laverne and graduated in 2018 with the education major.
Okay, please give them a round of applause. Okay, so the way that this forum is going to work is I'm going to ask a question. They'll answer. At some point, you'll think of some questions that you'll want to ask as well. Okay, so if they're done answering the question that we're currently on, feel free to raise your hand and you can address it at the crowd up there. Okay, I'll go ahead and start it off though. First question today. A lot of these students right here are seniors. Okay, some are juniors, but they're definitely thinking about college and how they're going to end up paying for it. Okay, so the question is, one, was that a concern of yours when you were in their shoes? And two, if so, what kind of things did you use to kind of help pay for part of your college experience? Okay. In the back.
So I filled out my FAFSA and everything went pretty well. But I had a lot of difficulty like getting money because of like international stuff, my parents. But the thing you have to know when you're applying is that if you want something, you have to really, really do it like yourself and actually go out there. And don't be shy about it, because this is a lot of like, it impacts you so much. And it saves your parents a lot of money if you can actually get financial aid, especially when you know that you're supposed to get it. So they had a mistake with my my financial aid, and they didn't give me any, and that meant I couldn't go to the university I wanted to go to. So I called them, I think probably 15 times. I filed like an official like legal, like I opened a case with them, and if I didn't do any of that, I wouldn't have gotten any financial aid, and my parents would have paid way too much money for me to go to the school I want to go to. So you kind of gotta be an adult about it. Don't be shy. It's really not the time, especially when you have to think about your future. And education is super, super important, but you never want to pay more than you're able to. You gotta like risk analysis, you know. So yeah. Really go out there and try to find scholarships, try to find different ways. And there's so many people and resources out there that are willing to help you, even if you might need to like do a little bit of research. People are always willing to like take your calls and to answer questions. Even as you're waiting on your results right now, there's no harm in calling the offices of financial aid. They'll be happy that you're doing it early as well. There's nothing wrong with getting extra information. And there's also a lot of different ways you can find scholarships for music, for sports, for anything. There's always money there, you just have to ask for it. Hello. Okay, so on scholarships, how to get money out of Walnut Valley. Okay, so at the end of at the beginning of this semester, I guess, so soon enough, there's gonna be something posted on dbhs.org. It's easy to miss, so you have to look carefully, but there's this thing called the Walnut Valley Education Foundation or something, and they have like 15 scholarships that they'll give out for like over $1,000, and literally just copy paste your college apps onto it. Last year, like nobody applied, so I got a lot of money. This year, you guys should apply and get some money.
You just ruined it for everyone.
Okay, so NYU is probably one of, like, if not the most expensive private school. And me, obviously, being who I am, I was like, oh, but I still want to go. So the thing with that, though, is, like, yes, I'm going to be in massive debt by the time I graduate. But you can take out student loans, but obviously you have to pay attention to, like, the interest rate on top of that. And I kind of wish I, like, paid more attention to that when I was, like, learning that in high school. But basically, like, money is just going to come on top of your debt, like, even more. So you have to be able to pay it off. And I applied for FAFSA, and then NYU kind of does a different, like, financial aid route, I guess. So I had to, like, do a whole separate application just for that. And I got, like, no money. So basically, for FAFSA, the way that I thought it worked was, like, FAFSA, see, like, I didn't even know. But, like, okay, so the thing about that, though, is, like, I saw it working as, like, if your parents have 2 jobs, you don't get work study. So what I encourage you is if you're a junior or a senior, get a job. Like, that's just gonna help you. So you have to save your money. I saved a lot of my money senior year. And I know you're gonna wanna go out and you're gonna wanna hang out with your friends, but guys, you need money for college, so you have to save it. And, like, honestly, so work study, basically you get a job when you're in college and they give you some money for it, but my tuition at NYU is like $70K and I'm only getting like $1,500. But it's still money, so you should still do it. But anyways, get a job, it's super important. Don't work it back home.
Okay, so I am actually on scholarship to swim at University of the Pacific, so all the worries that I had for my parents to pay off for my tuition in school, because I do go to a private school, so it's really expensive. But yeah, point is, if you really like a sport or something that you're doing and you're really passionate about it, you should definitely pursue it because it'll help you and your parents in terms of scholarship. I'm also working this semester as a TA for Gen Chem, so yeah. yeah, what Cami said, work. Don't spend money now because you're going to spend money in college, especially if you're away from home and there's no boba and the only thing you have is this thing called T4. All your money is going to that because you have nothing else to supply you with the stuff that you want.
Up there, how many of you graduated class of 2018? Okay, so 2/3 of them up there are in the middle of the dorm experience. Would any of you like to share any stories this year in terms of your dorm experience with roommates or RAs or anything else that might have happened?
So for me, so before you go in college, you're gonna be added to a Facebook group. So yeah, so you're gonna be going on the Facebook group, and you can see like everyone they'll be posting about themselves, like I do this, I do that, and you get like you can like reach out to them. Oh, this room. You can either say, oh yeah, let's do it, or like, no, let's not do it. But then for me, I didn't post or anything, and I didn't reach out, so I did random. And but then like a random's like 50-50, right? But then like when I room. No, it's like 50-50 chance to either good or bad. But then my roommate, like, we don't talk, which is okay. Like, the only conversations we have, I go in my room, it's like, hey. And then, like, that's all we do, and I leave, like, see ya. So, like, that's all we do, but it's totally fine because, like, we don't really talk about our personal stuff, so, like, our personal issues are out of it, and we never argued before, and I'm thinking. Yeah, it's totally fine. So like if you do random, don't be scared, just that sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't, but hopefully it works out for you guys.
Okay, so I'm not actually living at NYU right now, but I don't have a choice on who I get to room with. So some schools you might not even get to pick who you're rooming with, and that's okay. But my roommate, I'm living with 3 other girls in a suite. So I'm the only girl that's from America. So my roommate's from Russia, my suite mate's from China, and then my other suite mate's from West Africa. So that being said, so I mean, okay, they all speak perfect English, so it's totally fine. But the thing is, like, you have to make the most out of the experience, and they don't have to be your best friend. So if anything that I've learned and like what all my friends have told me is, 1, do not room with your best friend. Just don't do it. Don't do it. Because if you room with your best friend and they end up being the messiest person in the world, you're gonna want to kill them and you're not gonna want to be friends with them anymore. So don't do it. Just saying. Like, it's something that I've learned, so my brothers told me, like, just don't room with your best friend. But I've also heard stories, people that pick their roommate, they hate their guts. But then if you get a random, they love them. So you really never know when it comes to a roommate, so don't freak out.
So we're roommates. We both went to Dime Bar, and we were friends for like 6 years before going to college. So far, everything's fine. We're still friends, so like everything. Yeah, we're sitting next to each other, no problems, you know. But we don't know that yet, you know. No, but yeah, our first semester so far, it's been pretty good. Yeah.
Like compromise.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a matter of compromising and understanding, like, yeah, oh yeah, when you're gonna clean, things like that. Yeah, so rooming is great, you know, and then, but yeah, if you do get stuck with random, or if you do, like, end up meeting someone new, that's cool too. Like, don't be afraid to meet new people, and yeah.
So nobody had a negative experience about their roommates in college? That's impressive.
So, because I'm a spring admit, I technically also haven't went yet, but I do have a friend. She was in a triple, and one of them was random, and one of them, like, she found through, like, a Facebook group. And ironically, the one that she found, she has issues with, and the random one, she's on really good terms with. So, like, even if you find someone that you think you vibe with, rooming with them may not always be the smart choice. So it's totally okay to go random, and, like, you know, it's okay. Like, just put yourself out there and be really nice and, like, compromise. Don't create issues for your roommates, and, you know, all will be okay.
I live at home, so I don't have the dorm experience, but my sister goes to UCI, and she does have the dorm experience, and then she moved out to an apartment. From the stories that she's told me, I think the key to having a good dorming experience is just to communicate and never assume that they know what you're thinking. So never assume like they know that this is their week to take the trash out. So you're just gonna wait and then become really petty when they don't do it. So make sure you just say it. Just don't hold anything back. Just say, hey, can you take the trash out? Instead of just like waiting for them and then like getting really mad when maybe they forgot. So just make sure you communicate and like spend time with them of just talking and connecting so you understand each other better. Especially if you have someone who's random. Make sure that you know what's going on in their life and like talk to them and try to get each other to open up so that you understand why someone's acting a certain way a certain day. Because some days they're like really, really mean to you and you have no idea why, but if you know their backstory and they are able to open up to you, then it makes everything a lot easier. So just communicate, it's very important.
Okay, is there another ad in the back? Okay, go ahead.
Okay,
Go for it.
I love my roommate. We kind of knew each other a little bit before college, but a really, really important thing is you have agreements set out before things happen. At Berkeley, there's this thing called room pact. You make a roommate contract. So it includes things like when can you invite people over? Can people sleep over? How late should we stay up? Like quiet hours during finals week, that kind of thing. It's all really, really important. It's better to prepare for these things before they happen. That way, if something does arise, you don't have to argue with each other. You don't have to be like passive aggressive. There's like a document you can look at and see what you agreed to. And it may not seem necessary at first. You'll always assume that you and your roommate are gonna get along amazing, and you might, but there's never any harm in having like that prepared.
Okay. Before I ask my next question, is there anyone from the audience that would like to ask one? Okay, feel free to raise your hand at any point if you do come up with a question. My next question has to do with, oh, there is a hand?
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead, Davis. Ask it to the audience, to them. Go ask it directly to them.
Sorry, for Cami, have you met your roommates yet?
So the thing is, everything that I've done is through social media. So obviously I didn't get to pick my roommates, but NYU gave me like their email address. And I emailed them through that, not knowing when they would respond because I didn't know where they were from. I had no idea what they looked like. So I was like, oh, follow me on Instagram and like message me. So they did. And I kind of talked to them like a little bit, and I've been talking to them for a while, but they're just like, oh yeah, I was like born in Saudi Arabia, but then I moved to West Africa, or like I was born in China, and like all this. So it's really cool to like have people from different backgrounds that I'm like living with, because I've only ever lived in California, so it's kind of like, you know, but yeah, I haven't met them in person, but I'm going to.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Gentleman over here.
How do you deal with textbook costs?
The question, in case anyone didn't hear it, the question was, how do you deal with textbook costs?
Okay. Don't buy it from your school. That is the most expensive place you will get your textbooks from. The only time you get to buy it from school is when your teacher wrote the book, and that's a thing. So some teachers write their books and you can't get it from anywhere else. But know the ISBN numbers and make sure that you look on other places. Chegg is a good one. Another one's bigwords.com. That one just compares a lot of different prices from Amazon, from Barnes & Noble. They just give you all the prices. There's one called Textbook Rush that's a little sketchy because some people have some bad experience with it, but I've never had a bad experience. Rent your books. If you're not sure if you want that to be in your major, you're not sure that you want to do that for your life, then don't keep the book. Rent it. Renting is a lot cheaper. There's some books that are hundreds, $200, but I've rented them for $15, and then if I like it, then I can buy it for a cheaper price than the first time around.
So if you do buy books from your bookstore, participate in the buyback system.
So there's some textbooks that I bought that there's no renting option, but I didn't want the book anymore. So the following semester or following quarter, I sold it to another student for cheaper than what the bookstore had, but more expensive for what I bought. So I actually made money off of it, and you can use that for your other books.
So to be fairly honest, I didn't buy textbooks, and I speak for both of us. We didn't buy textbooks because they're so expensive. I made it a thing to just make sure I attended every class and took really good lecture notes. And I only purchased like workbooks. At UCLA we have workbooks. I don't know about other schools, like you have to get it sometimes because your entire lecture is you going through the workbook and writing in it and like answering certain questions in it. But yeah, I just didn't buy it.
So let me get this straight. The two of you went to one of the top schools in the nation, graduated in what, 3 years, 4 years, and never bought one textbook for the entire stay there?
Pretty much did not buy textbooks. If it was really necessary, like, because I was history, poli-sci, and global studies, there's a lot of reading. A lot of the classes actually had the books in the library. So I'd go to the library and then force myself to study because I didn't study in college. Like, I studied like the day before midterms, like maybe a day and a half before finals. It was okay. But I did see when we went to lecture, we took really good notes, we never skipped class. And then if I had to read something for like discussion, I'd go to the library, and most of the time the teachers had the books like in the library. You could get for like an hour, 2 hours, or like overnight.
So about how much would you say you saved throughout the course of college by never purchasing a textbook?
Like literally thousands. Books are so expensive. I bought books my first 2 quarters of college, realized I didn't need to, and stopped buying books.
Wow. Okay. Over here in the middle.
So another piece of advice is make friends with upperclassmen because that helps so much. Not only will it help you if you like need to figure out whether you need to buy books or not, because if they already took the course, they could say like you don't really need the book, so you can not buy the book. But also they help with like giving advice about taking certain classes, certain professors. Also, they also may have like old practice tests that help you. So make friends with upperclassmen.
Yeah, also like when you go into a class, ask the upperclassmen if they actually use the textbook, so if you actually need to purchase it. And also, like at my school we have online textbooks, so there's like other sites, there's like multiple sites where you can buy it off, and some sites are kind of sketchy, but then like it works, so like it's okay if it's cheap or if it's for free because it worked. And sometimes like when people purchase it online, they just log into their username. So what happened to me was that I was in my dorm, and then like I asked my friend where she got her textbook, and she just logged onto my computer, and like, oh, it's right here. So she logged in, and I guess she accidentally downloaded it to my computer. So like I got the textbook. So basically, what you can do is your friend downloaded it, you can possibly get it for free on your computer.
Going to the class, like you'll need them by like week 2 or something, and your professor will tell you to don't waste money.
Yeah, definitely just ask around. I think like connections with like upperclassmen and like people that have taken the class before, you can like ask them if you can buy their books off of them, or like maybe like make a friend and then share a textbook when they're not using it. A lot of ways to get out of it and not pay as much as like they sell for in the bookstore.
Also, in college, most times, like with lectures and stuff, they'll make you buy a clicker for like, if they have like quizzes on the PowerPoint or whatever, you have to like buy a clicker. And I took classes my fall semester, even though I'm a spring admit, I took classes at a local CC, and I had to buy one here. And also, like now, because I'm starting school soon, one of my professors sent out an email saying that I had to also get a clicker for school in Boston, but it's a different companies. So now I have to like get rid of my old one and then buy a new one. And actually, I looked online on my school website. For Boston, the clicker is like $100, but I found it on Amazon for $30. So like, you know, definitely go look around on websites and like find a cheaper one.
Denise, I don't think everyone here knows what a clicker is, so can you explain how that works?
It's like a remote control that has like A, B, C, D on it for like when like professors put like PowerPoints on the screen, and then like they'll give you quizzes, so then you have to participate in that, and that's like the majority of like your participation grade also. So, yeah.
Yeah, if you had you and Aga,
That prepares you for college. AP Bio.
Okay. Next question. Something that kept coming up over and over in the last few periods of speakers is that everyone felt like in high school, many students kind of join clubs, kind of pad stats and build up the resume, but then in college, you kind of join what you like to join.